What if I told you one of the most successful e-commerce entrepreneurs of the past decade was secretly battling bipolar disorder? A man who revolutionized how we buy pants online, raised millions in venture capital, and sold his company to Walmart for $310 million, all while grappling with extreme mood swings, manic episodes, and crushing depression. This is the story of Andy Dunn, co-founder of Bonobos, and his incredible journey through the dizzying heights and devastating lows of entrepreneurship and mental illness. Welcome to CEO's Library, the 1% Bookshelf. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into Burn Rate, Launching a Startup and Losing My Mind by Andy Dunn. This raw and honest memoir peels back the glossy veneer of startup success to reveal the turbulent mental health struggles that often lurk beneath. Dunn's story is a stark reminder that even as entrepreneurs reach for the stars, they remain painfully human, vulnerable to the same psychological challenges that affect millions worldwide. Let's start at the beginning. The year is 2000, and Andy Dunn is a bright, ambitious college student at Northwestern University. He's always been a high achiever, skipping a grade in elementary school, captain of the Quiz Bowl team, and now studying economics at one of the best universities in the country. But something is about to change dramatically. One cold Chicago night, Dunn experiences what he describes as an ascending hypomania. His thoughts race, his energy skyrockets, and he begins to believe he has a divine purpose. Within days, this escalates into full-blown mania. Dunn becomes convinced he's the Messiah, destined to save the world. He stops sleeping, barely eats, and his behavior becomes increasingly erratic. Friends and family, alarmed by his state, intervene. Dunn is hospitalized and diagnosed with bipolar disorder, type I. But here's where the story takes a crucial turn, one that will shape the next 16 years of his life. Instead of accepting the diagnosis and seeking treatment, Dunn and his family choose denial. Dunn writes, "We didn't check any references. We found an accounting firm that wasn't too expensive and quickly hired them." This approach to his mental health, ignoring red flags, hoping for the best, would become a dangerous pattern in his life and business. Fast forward to 2007. Dunn has graduated from Stanford Business School and is about to co-found Bonobos with his classmate Brian Spalley. The company's mission? To solve khaki diaper butt by creating better-fitting men's pants and selling them online. It's an innovative idea at a time when e-commerce is still in its infancy. As Bonobos takes off, Dunn's hypomanic tendencies serve him well, at least on the surface. He's bursting with energy, working around the clock, and exuding the kind of charismatic confidence that attracts investors and employees alike. In the early days of Bonobos, Dunn recalls, "I was either out and about or sleeping. Either way, I was a ghost." This frenetic pace and oscillation between extremes becomes Dunn's new normal. He describes periods of incredible productivity and creativity, followed by stretches where he can barely get out of bed. The startup world, with its move fast and break things mentality, seems almost tailor-made to mask these swings as just part of the entrepreneurial roller coaster. But beneath the surface, trouble is brewing. Dunn's relationship with co-founder Brian Spalley begins to deteriorate. Their different approaches to business, Spalley more conservative, Dunn more aggressive, create tension. Dunn's mood swings and erratic behavior exacerbate the situation. In one particularly telling anecdote, Dunn describes a confrontation with Spalley on a New York City street. "I hate you," Dunn tells him, the words erupting from a place of long simmering resentment and unchecked emotion. It's a moment that highlights how Dunn's unmanaged mental health is poisoning not just his personal well-being, but his most important business relationship. As Bonobos grows, so does the pressure on Dunn. The company raises millions in venture capital, expanding beyond pants into shirts, suits, and even a separate women's brand. But with each new round of funding, the stakes get higher. Dunn feels compelled to maintain an image of unwavering confidence and success, even as he struggles internally. He writes, "I developed a bionic spine to handle the rejection," referring to the constant fundraising grind. But that bionic spine comes at a cost. Dunn buries his vulnerability and pain deeper, refusing to acknowledge the toll his undiagnosed bipolar disorder is taking on his life and company. This pressure cooker eventually reaches a boiling point in March 2016. Dunn, now CEO of a company valued at over $100 million, experiences another massive manic episode. The details are harrowing. He becomes convinced he's a messiah again, wanders the streets of New York in a delusional state, and ends up in a physical altercation with his girlfriend and her mother. The aftermath is brutal. Dunn is hospitalized in the psychiatric ward at Bellevue Hospital. Upon release, he's immediately arrested and charged with assault. His career, his relationship, and the future of Bonobos all hang in the balance. It's in this rock-bottom moment that Dunn finally confronts the reality he's been running from for 16 years. He accepts his bipolar diagnosis and commits to treatment. The road back is not easy. Dunn has to rebuild trust with his team, his board, and most importantly, with himself. One of the most powerful moments in the book comes when Dunn discloses his diagnosis and recent episode to the Bonobos board of directors. He describes the call, "I just spent the last week in the hospital. I had an episode, what they call a manic episode, during which I lost my mind. Before getting to the hospital, I struck both Manuela and her mom." The vulnerability in this moment is palpable. Dunn is laying bare his deepest struggles, risking everything he's built, but instead of rejection, he's met with support. Joel Peterson, a respected board member, responds, "I know a few folks who have dealt with what you're dealing with, Andy, including more than a couple of entrepreneurs. It's entirely manageable. I have full faith in you to take care of yourself, and I have full confidence in you as our CEO." This moment of acceptance becomes a turning point for Dunn. He begins intensive therapy, finds the right medication regimen, and implements strict routines to manage his bipolar disorder. He also becomes more open about his struggles, both within the company and eventually with the wider world through this book. As Dunn rebuilds his life and continues to lead Bonobos, he gains new perspective on the intersection of mental health and entrepreneurship. He realizes that many of the traits that made him a successful founder, creativity, high energy, risk-taking, are also linked to his bipolar disorder. The challenge becomes harnessing these traits while mitigating the dangers of unchecked mania or depression. Dunn writes, "Bipolar disorder is in my wiring. Losing is not. I've always hated it. The only thing I hate more than losing is letting other people down." This drive, tempered now with self-awareness and proper treatment, allows Dunn to lead Bonobos to its ultimate success, a $310 million acquisition by Walmart in 2017. The lessons from Dunn's journey are profound and multifaceted. First and foremost, his story highlights the critical importance of mental health awareness and treatment, especially in the high-stress world of startups. Dunn's years of denial and suffering serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignoring psychological red flags. For entrepreneurs, Dunn's experience offers valuable insights into the double-edged nature of traits often celebrated in startup culture. The same passion and intensity that can drive a company forward can also, if unchecked, lead to burnout, broken relationships, and self-destruction. Dunn's story argues for a more nuanced understanding of entrepreneurial psychology, one that acknowledges both the potential upsides and very real downsides of a founder's mental makeup. The book also sheds light on the immense pressure founders face to maintain an image of infallibility. Dunn's fear of vulnerability, his reluctance to seek help, stemmed partly from concern about how it would impact investors and employees' perceptions of him and Bonobos. This points to a larger issue in startup culture, the need to create spaces where leaders can be honest about their struggles without fear of losing support or credibility. Perhaps most importantly, Burn Rate is a story of hope and resilience. Dunn's journey from denial to acceptance, from chaos to management, shows that it's possible to thrive professionally while battling serious mental health challenges. His openness about his bipolar disorder serves to destigmatize mental illness and encourage others to seek help. As we wrap up, it's worth reflecting on a quote from the book that encapsulates much of Dunn's hard-won wisdom. "I never want my son to experience me as a liability. I never want him to see his dad manic. I never want him to see his dad in bed for weeks or months at a time. The day I'm not afraid of this illness is not a good day for me or anyone I love." This vigilance, this commitment to ongoing treatment and self-awareness is perhaps the most valuable lesson from Dunn's story. Mental health, like physical health, requires constant attention and care. For entrepreneurs pushing themselves to the limit, This message is particularly crucial. Burn Rate is more than just a business memoir or a mental health narrative. It's a deeply human story about the struggle to reconcile our ambitions with our limitations, our public personas with our private battles. Andy Dunn's unflinching honesty provides a roadmap for anyone grappling with mental health issues while pursuing ambitious goals. For founders, investors, and anyone interested in the psychological realities of building a business, this book is an essential read. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions about success, vulnerability, and what it truly means to be a leader in today's high-pressure business world. As we close this episode, I encourage you to reflect on your own mental health practices, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. Are there areas of your life where denial is easier than confrontation? Are you giving your psychological well-being the same attention you give your professional goals? Remember, seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength and self-awareness. Andy Dunn's journey shows us that, with the right support, treatment, and mindset, it's possible to achieve great things while also taking care of your mental health. Thank you for joining us on CEO's Library, the 1% Bookshelf. If you found value in today's episode, please consider leaving a review or sharing with a friend. The link to purchase Burn Rate is in the show notes, along with resources for mental health support. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and remember, your mind is your most valuable asset. Take care of it.